everyone, welcome to Crocheting with Jill. In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to crochet the shoulder of the Minion scarf. This is tutorial number 2 in a series of videos to help you follow along with this crocheted corner to corner Minion versus Evil Minion scarf. Here's the back side of diagonal number 9 and here's the front side. So I'm working up this diagonal. In the first video of this series, I showed you how to crochet this little arm tab that sticks out here on this Minion. Here I am on the Adobe PDF Acrobat app, and I'm following along with my finger as we go. I've already done the first 2 black blocks of diagonal number 9, and I've also already worked the first 5 orange squares, or whatever color your Minion is wearing, which is normally blue. So this is where I'm at right here. And we are in this video going to learn how to do these 2 orange squares that make up the shoulder of the Minion's clothes. It's a little bit tricky with all of the carrying of yarn. So this video tutorial will walk you through how to do this to ensure that your scarf looks great on both sides. Now, since this is a scarf, people will see both sides. In a lot of corner-to-corner crochet projects, people leave the back sides pretty messy, which is great for blankets. You can just add some fleece and cover it up. But on a scarf, you really need to make sure that you crochet over your carried yarns and that you switch colors very carefully to make it look pretty good from both sides. I differentiate between the front side and the right side, partly because that makes the pattern easier to follow, but I also do use techniques that make my front side look a little bit cleaner and crisper than the back side. So here's the first technicality. We have this yellow yarn and we're going to continue in orange, but I need to carry along this yellow yarn, or we could cut it. See, we've already done these first 6 yellow blocks, so we could cut it and then reattach it for that diagonal number 10, which would result in a slightly cleaner looking scarf. However, I would like to avoid sewing in any extra ends. So I'm just going to carry that yellow along by crossing it over after my next block, where you can see it crosses over that diagonal. So here's how we do that. We're going to crochet over that yellow yarn as I work the next or 6th orange block. So we're going to hold the yellow yarn around the block about like this, and then I'm going to take my orange yarn and work the next block. Normally you would insert your hook like this from my front to my back and pull the yarn through to attach it to the next block. This isn't actually how I'm going to work this particular block, but I'm going to work it like this for just a little bit to show you why not. So here's a couple of chains and 2 half double crochets, and let's take a look at the front side. See this little diagonal here, which is slightly messy. Now, if that doesn't bother you, just keep going. It's really not that big of a deal, but I want for my front side to look a little bit cleaner than my back side. So I'm going to insert my hook the other direction to make that diagonal happen on the back side of the scarf. So I'm going to insert my hook from my back to my front, which is from the front side of the scarf to the back side of the scarf. The times that you do this are when you are looking at the back side of the scarf and we are not switching colors. My last block was in orange and my next block is in orange, and I am crocheting into a block of another color. So there's 3 things there. You have to be looking at the back side of the scarf, continuing in the same color, not changing colors, but crocheting into a different color. So I'm crocheting into yellow, which is the different color. When all of those 3 conditions are met, in order to make that little diagonal appear on the back side of the scarf, we insert our hook from my back to my front in order to pull that yarn through to attach it to that yellow block. And you can see that little diagonal right there already. Be careful to continue working over that yellow yarn as you go. So now we're going to chain 2 and then half double crochet 3 over that yellow yarn as well. Remember, it is a scarf, so there's not really a front and a back, so this is just a personal preference thing. Now we have done the first 6 blocks in orange, and at this point we want that yellow to carry over. And then I'm going to pick it up at the top of the 10th diagonal. So we don't want to continue to carry the yellow along because it's going to show it on the edge. So you really do want to either drop it right there or attach your yarn. See, in this video here, I'm not attaching the yellow. I actually probably should have attached the yellow just on this next stitch where I pull the yarn through and then dropped the yellow. It would have been a little bit of a cleaner look. Again, we're looking at the back side. We are doing or continuing in the same color of orange, but crocheting into yellow, so I insert my hook from the back to the front and work that final block of diagonal number 9. So there's a couple of things here that get a little bit tricky. We're going to start diagonal 10, which is in yellow. And I want to use the same piece of yellow yarn, which is down here a little bit. So we're going to hold it along and crochet over it as we go. Additionally, I need my orange yarn to be way down here in order to pick that up when I come back down the diagonal, because we took that orange yarn a little bit extra further out for that shoulder there. So we're going to do 2 yellows and then pick back up with that same piece of orange. So to do that, we're going to be crocheting over 2 different pieces of yarn going in 2 different directions. So we're going to hold the yellow like this and switch to yellow as well. And we don't actually need to hold the orange just yet because we first have to create our freestanding yellow block to extend the length of the scarf. So I'm going to attach it and pull the orange tight, which I do not count as one of the chain 5s because it kind of shows if you do that. So pull it tight and then chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we skip the 2 chains and half double crochet 3 into the next 3 chains. Now here is our first yellow block of diagonal 10. Now we are going to be looking at the front side of the scarf and working our way down. Now I need to do 1 more yellow block. If we stick our hook in and we're not careful, it will look tacky. If you just attach the yellow yarn like this without paying attention to your backside, you'll have that ugly yellow yarn running across the back. So when you insert your hook, make sure you also hook it under that yellow yarn that you've carried in order to crochet over it so that we hide it. Also, we need to bring this orange down and crochet over it as well so that we have it available for the very next block. So we've got a yellow piece of yarn going one direction and an orange piece of yarn going the other direction that we are crocheting over both of those. Now we're going to work our next yellow block like normal, crocheting over all of those yarns very carefully. And if we take a look at the back side, you can see the orange is a little messy, but if we just pull that orange yarn tight, it looks a bit cleaner. All right, now we are done with the yellow. We can just drop that onto the back side and pick up with the orange yarn. Again, I'm doing a new color, so I want to bring it in from the front, so I will insert my hook from the back to the front to attach that orange yarn and pull the yellow nice and tight, and then begin the next orange block. We need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 orange blocks. So here we are. I am loving the look of this scarf so far. We have already completed the Minion's black leg, and now it is time to switch back to the main scarf color, which I'm doing in blue, or Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn peacock color. We're gonna need 3 blocks in peacock, 2 to finish out this diagonal, and then we'll turn the corner. So we're gonna attach that blue yarn from the front. Here we are. We have now finished diagonal number 10, and we have the full width of the scarf completed. So now it's time to turn the corner and start working up as we work diagonal 11. So I'm no longer going to chain 5. Instead, I'm going to slip stitch my way up the side of the last block I made before starting that next block. So flip your work over. And then I do 2 or 3 slip stitches, just depending on kind of how my yarn's going. No one ever seems to be able to tell. So in this case, we're going to do 1 slip stitch, 2, and I think that's good. So now we only need to chain 2 for this block. And then we can immediately start working our 3 half double crochets into that chain 2 space from that last block. And now we have finished our 3 blue blocks, and we've started to go up the side of the scarf, so we are no longer increasing the width. Now pull that yarn towards you to hold it in the back. You can go ahead and cut it if you'd like. And then we're going to switch back to orange. I'm going to pick up that same piece I've had before, inserting my hook from my front to my back like normal, because we want to bring that new color in from the front side of the scarf. Pull that blue nice and tight and work your next orange block. From here, we're just going to crochet normally using normal corner to corner techniques until we get back to this black arm tab, which will be in a separate video tutorial.